Hi, welcome to the most recent virtual seminar in the Productivity During Pandemic seminar series hosted by CRESS at McMaster University. CRESS is the Center for Research in Empirical Social Sciences. And I'm Michelle Dion, I'm the Academic Director of CRESS. And we're grateful to have with us today Olga Perkovic from the University Library. Before I introduce her further, I do want to acknowledge that McMaster University is on the unceded territories of the Haudenosaunee and Mississauga peoples and is governed by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. And we are grateful for their tolerance in allowing us to work and study in their space. Olga Perkovic is the Research and Advanced Studies Librarian at McMaster University, and she works with faculty, graduate students, and other researchers to provide support for all phases of the research and scholarly process. She helps manage a couple of the university's library's websites related to the research enterprise, and she works closely with campus partners to provide services and support for instructors and researchers as well. So today she's going to be talking to us specifically about the research supports that are going to be available to researchers, including students, for this fall at McMaster University. Thank you for being with us, and I look forward to learning from your presentation.
Thank you very much for that introduction. I'd like to thank Dr. Dion for inviting me to be part of the CRESS Productivity During Pandemic series. I'm happy to be here to talk about the University Library's collections, resources, and services for graduate students, postdocs, and other researchers in the social sciences. In her back to school presentation posted on August 7, Dr. Dion talked about some of the resources, tools, and collections available from the library. So what I'm planning to do today is to expand on the content that she introduced. The most efficient way for me to do this is to go directly to the library website and show you what we've been working on in preparation for the fall term. So I already have my screen being shared. So this is the address, library.mcmaster.ca. We are linked from the main university website. There is a lot of content happening on this page, so I'd like to go through it, and then I will be doing some demo searches and highlighting some of the important resources we put together specifically for graduate students. So across the top of the page, you'll see that there are 6 headings with drop-down menus for each. So you can investigate those on your own time, but a lot of this information is repeated on other pages. So we try to provide multiple access points to the same pages for you. On the right-hand corner, you will see remote support, which will take you to the same page as the blue banner here entitled Remote Support, Learn More, and I will talk about this in more detail soon. Also at the top right corner, you'll see Get Help, which will show you the different ways in which you may contact the library. I'm just going to select that so you can see there's virtual help, chat, email, calling us, and other forms. So this is probably the quickest way to get access to someone very quickly. The yellow banner across the top, you'll see some scrolling windows, and one of them is information about our COVID response. The other is about Google Scholar. This is something Dr. Dion talked about in her presentation, setting up links so that when you are searching on Google Scholar, you'll be able to link directly to our collections through a linking mechanism, and then you'll be able to see if we have the journal articles or books or other materials in our collection. So it's a huge time saver to have this link working for you. Going further down the page, you'll see the options for conducting research, namely the search function, and you will see the default is to discovery, but we also have another option called catalog. So these two work together, and I'll do some demo searches in these later, but basically discovery searches journal articles and the library's collections of books and ebooks and other materials. But this is a select number of journal articles from a select number of databases. I'm saying that because I'd like to emphasize that this second tab on databases is quite critical in terms of finding all the resources that we have available. This will be a selection using Discovery. The catalog will search everything but the journal articles. So these two work together, and the default is Discovery. We also have our databases. We have over 500 databases to choose from. So the important thing is to actually choose the most relevant database for your search, for your research. Online journals are our list of journals that we have online, and this might be a good place to go if you have the name of a journal that you're looking for and you want to know what coverage we have and which publisher site we have access to. Our research guides, you'll notice we have a lot of research guides. They're also called library guides that we prepare for classes, for topics. You'll see here on the left side we have an undergraduate research guide, and I've prepared a graduate research guide. So I'll be going into that a little bit later on. Underneath that, yes, all our libraries are closed. And below that, you see these are meant to be quick links to information, including what I want to highlight are things like the COVID-19 increased access, borrowing from other libraries, course reserves. If you're first year, this is mainly for undergraduates, but you're welcome to look there. And remote computer access, so how to actually access our computers remotely from your home. Under the latest news, we have a lot of library news stories, and at this time I would like to draw your attention to this story posted on August 10th. Dedicated space for graduate students is now available in the library. So what we've done is we've opened up at the request of the School of Graduate Studies up to 50 students, up to 50 spaces for students in this space, which is the Learning Commons on the second floor of Mills Library. So students enter this space through the tower entrance located on the east side. I don't know if you can see that door right there. So this is the east side of the library. So this article, if you read it, there will be a link there that to a form that you have to complete in order to access this space. So there is no assigned or booked seating, but the space has been arranged to comply with social distancing measures, and you do have to wear a mask. Below the news items, we have upcoming events. I do have something called the Library Research Rounds for graduate students in 2 weeks' time, and I hope if you haven't already registered for it, I hope to see you there. We are offering gift cards of $50, three $50 gift cards to Indigo, just for participating and attending, so I hope you are able to make that event. And at the very bottom, I'd like to show you that we do have 4 libraries on campus. Mills, Innes, and Thode libraries comprise the university libraries. Health Sciences libraries, it is administratively in some ways separate from the other libraries. And for this reason, they have their own website. Okay, so their services and hours will differ from Mills Library. So please take a look at this page if your research crosses over into the health sciences. So going back up to the remote support web page, I would like to open up that page. Here we go. So the support hub, as we call it, brings together information and access to many library services that are now being offered virtually, and new resources that have been developed to support the McMaster community during the pandemic. You'll find sections with specific information for students, instructors, and researchers, as well as a number of library essentials, you can see here, that will be of interest to many. We have also included numerous ways that you may contact us with any questions that you may have while the libraries are closed. And I would suggest that you familiarize yourself with these pages. If anything changes, those changes will be reflected on these web pages. So I consider this as the go-to page for the most current information about the libraries. So you can see here the breakdown by students, researchers, and instructors. And below that, you see library essentials for everyone. There are 6 windows, and I want to draw your attention to the increased access to e-resources page. And the reason I want to highlight this is to show you what has changed in terms of our collections as a result of the pandemic. So the library journal platforms are strong here at McMaster, so there is little change with access to journals. Book publishers, on the other hand, responded by offering temporary access to open content. So we were able to significantly increase our ebook collections. For example, from now until the end of the next academic year, we have access to the full ebook collection of Cambridge University Press and Routledge. These 2 collections alone result in full text access to over 180,000 ebooks. Both publishers provide good coverage of social science materials, so these collections should be a benefit to you. All the books have been included in the library catalog with direct links to the ebooks. I'd also like to draw your attention to library remote support FAQs. This is actually not working for me right now because it doesn't play well with Google Chrome. So you do have to open this up using another browser. But off-campus access, I can open up. And there are a few things here that I already talked about, linking directly from our website with Google Scholar, installing a browser bookmark. This is something that Dr. Dion talked about in her presentation, and linking to e-resources. So I would suggest that you also take a look at this page. I'm just going back. So at this time, I'd like to select a user group. And for graduate students, I would recommend that you use researchers. And this is because this page is directed to graduate students, postdocs, faculty, and other researchers. So under collections, we have to click on this to expand the page. We've kind of tried to provide very brief information, but with a lot of links to useful information. And one item I would like to highlight under collections is the HathiTrust catalog collection that we have access to as well. So HathiTrust is a global community of research libraries that preserves digitized print items such as books, journals, and other materials. The university library is participating in the HathiTrust Emergency Temporary Access Service, or ETAS program, which means that our users have digitized access to over 800,000 books in our print collection. So if an item is in the book stacks, you may now access it electronically through this program. The catalog records clearly mark books that are available through the HathiTrust, and you can also search directly on the HathiTrust website. Follow the instructions on the website to learn how to do this. The library has to work within the guidelines of the ETAS program. So for example, the number of digital copies available to McMaster users matches the number of physical copies held by the library. So this means if the library has 1 copy of a title, 1 digital copy is available to McMaster users through ETAS. Also note that you can read the book online, but downloads are not permitted. So there are a number of other restrictions, but those are just a few of them. Under this, on this page as well, you'll see that we have limited curbside pickup for materials that are not available in electronic form. So this service is not available currently for undergraduate students. It's only available for the other user groups. Not all books are eligible for curbside pickup. So as I mentioned earlier, if a book is otherwise available electronically, such as those in the HathiTrust collection, you cannot, your request for a print version of that book cannot be filled. So my suggestion is when you find something in the catalog, you would select something called Request It and go through the steps of filling out your request, and we will let you know or notify you if we cannot fulfill your request. If we can, there's information that follows about how you would then pick up the item. We have opened up our shipping doors, which are at the back end of the library, and you're able to walk up, bike up, or use your car, and we will put that item in your trunk for you. Okay. Under user services, I'd also like to point out interlibrary loans. So when we say at this time interlibrary loans will continue for e-resources, this means that requests for print materials from other libraries are not being filled at this time. So what we're telling our users is to continue sending interlibrary loan requests, and then we will notify you if your request cannot be filled for the reason regarding that it's a print source. And this is also a good time to remind everyone to apply for a free interlibrary loan RACER account. If you don't already have one, this will be kind of your homework assignment for this session. It's to sign up for a RACER account. And with this account, you may request books, journals, and other materials that the library does not own or subscribe to. Again, there are restrictions in place during this time of COVID, but electronic requests are being filled. And the idea behind this is you should never ever pay for a journal article. I've run across graduate students early on in the term who have paid $40 for a journal article, and that is not what we want you to do. We can get you full text access for free, so please do not pay anything to the publishers for those articles, because we have this service in place for you. The library also offers scan a chapter or a journal article, which is quite handy because if you only want a single chapter of a book or a journal article, we're able to pull, say, a print book from our collection and just scan you a chapter of it, okay? And the same with journal articles. So that's a really popular service, I think, among graduate students and faculty. And again, there's the information about graduate thesis completion study space, which I talked about earlier. Under learning and support, we are here to provide help for you for your research. So there is a link to our request a research consultation with a librarian. So you can meet one-on-one with a librarian, such as myself, to go over to discuss your research strategy, your search statements, and so forth. So you need to complete a form, and we'll contact you to schedule a virtual meeting. And I've been doing this all summer. So graduate students continue their research all summer long, and I've been meeting with them all summer long, as other librarians have as well. Under archives, the department is providing a very limited photocopying service. Information about this is not accessible from the remote support page. Later on in the chat, I will include a link to that page for you. Or if you're interested, you can email me and I'll send you the link as well. Under Maps Data GIS, you'll find information about our data services, including Research Data Management, or RDM. Under the Sherman Center for Digital Scholarship, this is another center that Dr. Dion talked about in her presentation. A schedule of workshops will be posted for 2020-2021. I think I'll be presenting one in the new year on journal publishing. So we highly recommend that you keep an eye on this page for those workshops. The Lions New Media Center, again, has specialized software there that you can now access remotely. So if you need to do that, I would suggest you look at this link on how to do that. And I think there's some FAQs there, but I think that's all I wanted to say about this page. So again, this is the support for researchers page, which I would recommend that you look at. I think the instructor page. I'll go to the instructor page a little bit later on, but right now I'd like to do some demos on the homepage. So I'm just going to go back to the homepage and talk about our catalog and discovery. and how two different functions work that I've already talked about. So the first example I want to show you is I have a title in mind. So if I'm looking for this resource, the APA manual, remember that the default is discovery. So what I normally do when I get my results, it's going to include journal articles on the APA manual. So what I normally do is just select the catalog. So now I have 7 results here. There it is there. So you can see how you can easily go from one search display to the next one. Okay. So as you can see here, there are different ways to get this material. So I'm just going to click on the title. It's always important to actually go into the title here. And this is what I would like to show you. So if there's a certain section you want to get out of the manual, you can request it this way. But what I really want to show you are the steps to get it through the HathiTrust. Because this involves a few steps and they're not always intuitive. So what you would do is you would click on the HathiTrust link. It's an orange button. You'll probably get used to seeing it with an elephant on it. There it is there. And what the link will do is take you to the actual item. At the very bottom, it says temporary access. So you would click on temporary access. And then you would click on, oh, I think it's actually signed out. It says it's not available online. This happened yesterday when I was searching for it. So this is a good example of a case where perhaps someone else has the item signed out. And because there's only one we have in the stacks, that means only one person can look at the online version. So until that person checks out the item, you do not have access to it. There is an automatic log out function. So if someone's not looking at it for a certain period of time or hasn't logged out or has forgotten to log out, then the system will automatically log the person out. So that happened the other day. Yep.
Just a question. So I see with the URL, you're not, you know, you're not logged into the university library to get to this link. And so if you're a student off campus, you just go straight to it through the library. You don't have to be logged into the library first to click through to the link. I guess that's sort of a question.
Yes, I thought I had my links. Okay, I'll get back to this. I'll try another example and then we'll get back to this example.
Could I ask a quick question as well?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. I was just wondering if you could clarify again the difference between discovery and catalogue, just like when I would use one or other.
Mm-hmm. So discovery, as the description is shown here, searches journal articles plus the library's collection of books, ebooks, media, and more. If I click on catalog, you'll see the same description minus the journal articles. So a lot of students wanted this way of searching, and they were used to it from their other libraries that offered this kind of integrated search function. If I want to search, I'll show you the difference. This will be my second search regardless, so I'll go into this. And so you're one step ahead of me. So if I wanted to search this topic, social scaffolding, the important thing when you're searching in any resource is to look at the refining or limit features, okay? So because of course I have way too many results here because I'm including journal articles. If I quickly click on a catalog, it will find only the books or book chapters in which social scaffolding appears. So you can see that I have 155 results in comparison to a much larger number of the journals, which is 8,000. Okay, so also when you're looking at the limiting features on the left side, you can see that I can limit my results just to the books, or I can remove dissertations, or if I don't want any of these, I can just click on academic journals, which will bring my results down lower. Also, you can see the databases. So this is what I really want to show you here. When I click on more, here you can see the databases from which the articles that are displaying, the 8,000 articles are displaying which databases they are coming from. So I'm getting social scaffolding from these multidisciplinary databases. From even Medline. I'm getting it from Project Muse, which is a humanities database. I'm getting results from CINAHL, which is a nursing database, from journals, let me see, from a social science citation index. So as I mentioned earlier, we have over 500 databases, and this certainly does not equal 500 databases. So it's a selection of databases that is pulled up to display journal articles. So that's why I like to emphasize that although this is, discovery is very convenient, so you can find journal articles and books on your topic, I like to highlight that it's really important to search the databases themselves as well, because then you can go into the more specific databases. Like some of these will not be relevant, perhaps. I'm thinking a nursing journal with 136 journals, articles about social scaffolding may not be relevant. I don't know. Open dissertations, you might not want to be reading a 300-page dissertation for your topic, so you might not want to be looking for those in your search results. So it is a very significant difference between the two. So again, it includes journal articles, but this is from a select number of databases. So it's important to go into the databases themselves. Does that answer your question?
Thank you. Yes, that's really clear. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. So while I'm on this page, I will look at this record as well, because I want to demonstrate the Request It button here. So it's important to always look at the full record, and I can see here that this was published in 2019 and it's available in Thode Library. Let's pretend there's not an ebook version of it. I just noticed there's an ebook version of it. But here you can scan one chapter. So this is our service that you can click on this, log in, and then select a chapter to be sent to you electronically. You can also request it this way. So this is the page for your library account. If you haven't already looked at it, you can log in with your Mac ID or with the barcode, which is a 14-digit number on your ID card. When you submit, I wanted to show you, this is new. I don't really have a deadline for this, so I'm going to say submit, and you'll see this message comes up that says library staff will let you know if this material is available for curbside pickup. And then you just say okay, and now this is on my hold shelf. If this is one of those items that they will not send you because it's available electronically through the Hattie Trust or some other way, then you will get an email saying we're not able to fill your request, and they'll indicate what you need to do in order to get that item electronically. So this might be a good time to actually go to the databases page just to show you the strength of our journal collection. So we do have over 500 databases here. You can either browse or search for them. So search for databases is if you know the name of the database you want to search, and browse our subject areas that we've created. They're quite general, so I'm just going to go down to the social sciences. And so what comes up is what we call, it's an A to Z listing of the databases that we have determined that provide coverage in social sciences journals. This number is misleading. So out of the 500, there are more than 16 databases for social sciences, because that number does not include the ones you see on the right-hand side, which are very important databases as well. So EBSCOhost is a huge multidisciplinary database. We have links to Google Scholar, JSTOR, the ProQuest databases, which is my favorite because they have a very good, strong interface for searching, and Scholars Portal journals and Web of Science. The other databases that are not included in that number are our new and trial databases. So if you go down that list, you can see what new databases have been added recently, and I want to draw your attention to this one here. You might have heard of it. It's called Scopus. So Scopus is another, it's kind of comparable to Web of Science, which is a citation database, and it's very powerful, very comprehensive. We have this product for the next 3 years at least. So, so it's listed here, but it's not listed on this other A to Z list. The other thing that we do is for every discipline or topic, we created a box called Best Bets, and we put in that box no more than 3 or 4 databases which we think are highly relevant for that discipline. So if you don't want to go through this A to Z list, and sometimes it can be quite long, the Best Bets will help you identify the ones that we highly recommend that you search. Does anyone have any questions about the databases at this time?
I actually have a question. I have found that myself, but also my students even more than me, rely on Google Scholar. And I think it would be helpful to understand from your perspective as an expert in this area, what are the limitations of Google Scholar, or when is it really a better strategy to come to one of these databases and do a search in one of the databases instead of using Google?
That's a great question, and very well aware. I like Google Scholar as well, but the strength in the other databases is the functionality, is the precision, it's the efficiency, it's the saving yourself time, knowing that the journals that are being indexed have already been predetermined to be peer-reviewed or high-quality journals. Google Scholar has a very broad definition of what scholarly materials are. It does include the journal scholarly publications, but it also includes things like a researcher's webpage. So if they put in, so every professor at McMaster probably has a web page. So those are considered scholarly sources. So you'll be pulling from those pages. You'll be pulling from the gray literature. So materials that have not been published, that have not gone through a peer-reviewed process. They'll be pulling from book chapters, so conference papers, working reports. Not that those aren't valuable materials, but when you're conducting research in peer-reviewed scholarly journals, you want to be using databases which have already predetermined and identified journals in those disciplines that are in which our scholars and experts in those fields of research are publishing their results. So Google Scholar also, as you all know, produces a lot of results. There's no way to filter, very little ways to filter. I think the only way is by year. And really you have to rely on your terms and using techniques, search techniques like phrase searching, using quotations around phrases. So you can pull up a lot of highly irrelevant results. The other thing is the bias. We don't know, you actually have to tell your undergrads, if you're TAs as well, to go through the evaluation process when you're getting results from Google Scholar. You have to, there's a lot of different ones. There's something called the CRAP test, C-R-A-P-P, but each represents something that you have to evaluate about that website. One example I'd like to talk about is the Martin Luther King site, because if you search Martin Luther King, you get a few highly respected sites, but then you see a website, and the more digging you do into it, you see that it's a racist site. So the algorithm for Google Scholar is an unknown, and a lot of it is based on the number of hits that a site might have. So a lot of teachers and librarians use the Martin Luther King example, and for that reason, that site floats to the top of the results page, but it's not a site that that is reputable. So that, there's a lot more questions you have to ask yourself when you're searching Google Scholar versus when you're in a database. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, that was perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. At this time, I do want to highlight the grad guide. We talked about online journals as well, but I really want to go into the research guides. So I've created a graduate research guide for this user group. Now, this first page is pre-pandemic page, so I'm going to leave it as is. I'll probably put a note here saying, please see the remote support hub page for information about loan periods, RACER, and a grad study room, which of course is not available at this time. But what I really want to show you is the conducting research site, and what we have here are two links. One of them is to the Health Sciences Library has created a web page on the Researcher's Toolkit, so going through the research cycle. The second one is something called Sage Research Methods Online, and this is a subscription title, so we pay for this access. And I like to show graduate students this resource because it includes about 750 full-text handbooks, encyclopedias, articles, podcasts, journal articles on conducting research in the social and behavioral sciences. There's a lot of ways you can search. So under Browse, you can search by topic or you can search by discipline. So for example, if I'm looking, doing work, I should have picked political science, sorry. I know there's one student political science here. So what it does, it will produce, pull, when you pick a discipline, it will produce results there. If you look on the right side, you can further select and narrow your results of what is being displayed. So right now I have a lot of books on display, but if I don't want the books and I want journal articles and videos, I can do that, and then it will display those. Sometimes there are podcasts. In this case, there isn't one. But what it is, it's a full text product. So I'm just going to look for one of the resources here. So what it does, it's, here's a video. Okay, so what it does, it highlights the methodology that's being talked about in the resource. So in this case, if someone's interested in innovative methods, or someone is interested in a certain type of, conducting a certain type of research, such as, those weren't very good examples, such as quantitative versus qualitative research and sampling or conducting interviews and so forth. Or here's an example of measurement. You can redirect your search and get all the other results on measurement in this, this is a podcast. Critical reading and writing, the scientific methods. So it's a really rich resource. If you haven't looked at it yet, I highly recommend you do. It also has research tools such as a project planner. So what it does, it kind of jumps you to the different stages of conducting research, and it gives you, again, information from this resource on defining a topic or reviewing your literature, conducting a literature review, research design, data collection, and so forth. So it kind of jumps you into that stage of the research process. And then it gives you the tools and more information about that process. So So I'd encourage you to look at that resource. It's there for your benefit, so I hope that's going to be useful for you. Finding resources, we've talked about how to find books and how to find articles with our databases. Citing resources, we have information about APA style, MLA style, and other citation styles. We have videos, we have links to the actual resource. We talk about comparisons of different software if you're not already using one. What to look for in a journal, its impact factors and so forth. As graduate students, you'll be publishing, and you should be thinking in these early days about your scholarly profile and how you want to represent yourself in the scholarly circles. I'd highly recommend that every graduate student create an ORCID account, and this is a unique identifier that will be with you for all your research endeavors, and it's a way of kind of showing others and compiling all your research by using your number. It's probably good to put on a CV and so forth. So we now have a relationship membership with ORCID, institutional membership. So you can go to the page and you can actually log in with your MAC ID and create an account that way as well. Publishing your work, again, related to your scholarly profile, what to look for, how to look at journals. A lot of students sometimes say, which journal should I publish in? I recommend you talk to your advisor, but also investigate things like Ulrich's Web, which is a comprehensive list of all journals and where they're indexed. So where a journal is indexed is quite important as well, because you want to find journals. Submit your proposal, make your submissions to journals that are indexed and will have wide readership. And of course, open access is something that I also work on. So open access publishing, it's important to know about the tri-agency open access policy on publications. If the research you're doing is funded by an NSERC, SSHRC, or CIHR grant, the mandate is to post the results of your research within 12 months of publication into an open platform such as an institutional repository. In McMaster, it's called MacSphere, and that will provide maximum exposure to your article, which the research has shown increases readership and possible citation counts. And getting help, of course. If you need help, again, there's the links to how to contact a librarian, and also the videos that we have offered, which I highly recommend that you also show your undergraduate students, because undergraduates will make full use of these How Library Stuff Works videos. The last I want to show before taking questions is going back to the remote support page. I do want to highlight the instructors. For instructors, this is a new service that we're offering. Under user services, we have now something called Course e-reserves. So this, if an instructor provides the library with a reading list for the course, the library staff will scan your course readings, ensure copyright compliance, and provide durable links to the library materials from a single point in your Avenue to Learn course shell. So this is new. We have about 20 courses that we've done this for already, but we'd really like to promote this to more faculty and instructors. So if you want help with your course reserves, we're here to do that for you. And I think that is all I'd like to talk about. I know I covered a lot on these pages, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Thank you so much. Does anyone have any other questions? I have one about what types of, when is it most common or most appropriate for graduate students or researchers to book a research consultation? What are the types of things that you help researchers with in those one-on-one consultations? You know, kind of what stage do you usually work with people at, or what types of problems do people bring to you? I suspect that many of us don't know kind of when it is that we should turn to a librarian for kind of one-on-one help.
Mhm. Um, what we'll do is save you a lot of time. So what I find out is, I find that graduate students who've used librarians from other institutions kind of seek us out early on, most at time of need. So it's not like someone comes from the beginning and saying, help me, I don't have a topic, I don't know what to do. It's usually more further along when, and I'm happy to meet anyone at any stage. We're happy to meet anyone at any time. But I find most users either have started some kind of review, systematic review or literature search, and they want to make sure that they've been comprehensive enough, that they've searched everything, that they found the seminal articles that they need to find that needs to be included in their literature search, literature for comps and so forth. So I find that it does vary, and I get master's students, PhD students. I had a second year consultation just 2 days ago, and she sometimes we get students that are working on these multi-year grants and working in teams. So one member of, say, a 4-member team of students who are conducting a search will come to me and then just say, okay, I'm doing this part of this grant project, can you help me on this? And did I find everything I should find? Did I use the right search statements? Did I use the right search terminology to the full effect? So those are the cases that I see for the most part, and they can be in any discipline. What I like to emphasize our service early on, because a lot of times, students spend a lot of, or not waste time, but they, realize if they had known what we talked about sooner, it would have saved them a lot of time. So, so that's when our services are, I think, most appreciated.
Yes, I can imagine, because Google Scholar, sometimes you get um, thousands of hits and you don't know how to narrow it necessarily to your specific thing that you're looking for, and you find a bunch of things that maybe seem related, but they're not exactly related. Are there any other questions that other folks have? I really, if I can put in a pitch for the SAGE methods site that you showed, I didn't know about the research planner, how it kind of has how to and help through all the different stages of research. But I really love the SAGE little blue books and little green books. So these are little, like they're the size of kind of a moleskin notebook. They're real small and thin, and they have the blue books are on qualitative methods and the green books are on quantitative methods, and they're usually about 50 or 60 pages, and they're pretty small and they're pretty focused. So they'll have one on how to do interviews, or how to do discourse analysis, or how to do a particular type of quantitative method. And those are very good kind of short introductions, particularly if you have to write a research proposal and you have to describe what type of method you're going to use, or you're trying to learn a new method. But it looks like that research planner that kind of has tips and guides for the entire process, that also looks really useful. And I wasn't aware of that. I'm definitely going to link to that in my course web pages from now on.
Oh, that's great to hear. I'm glad.
Yeah. I think we did have one question about Racer that I tried to answer in the chat, was about whether or not students have to pay for library loans or a Racer account, or kind of more about how that works.
Yes. Fortunately, this is a service offered through a consortium of libraries across Ontario. We all share in using this product. And so there is no cost to students, absolutely not. It is a free service and I've seen materials come from as far as Germany and all over the place, although we can't do that now because of COVID. this is the page here, and I'd highly recommend that you register here. It really doesn't take that long to register, and the account is active right away. The sooner you create a Racer account, the better for you, because you will come across a resource that we don't have or we don't subscribe to. And this is the beauty of this service, is that we will be able to get you that item. It's just, if it's in print, we cannot, but if it's electronic, we can. So we do have people coming in, we do have library staff in the libraries who are filling requests for our users, our graduate students and researchers. It's very straightforward. The application form, you would select your group. I like to show this because sometimes students have questions about there's your 14-digit barcode, which is what you will always use to log into Racer. And it does say preferred payment method, but there is no payment. So basically you would check off your ID here. And the only reason normally in normal circumstances you would pay is if you don't pick up a book within 3 weeks of a time that a print book has come in from another library. There is a charge for you not picking it up. So even if you will get an email. If you no longer need that item, just pick it up, return it, and then you won't be charged anything. And you have 3 weeks to pick up an item, and normally they're on the first floor on a hold shelf, and you just kind of go and look up your name and pull it off the shelf. But again, that's not possible now. First name, last name, email does not have to be a McMaster email. You create a password, but the password you're going to forget. You don't want to forget it, but it's likely that if you created a Racer account today, you may not use it until a month from now. And the most common problem I see with grad students and students is that they forget the password. So, and then you have to actually come into the library, and I don't even know if we can do that for you now because of COVID. So try to remember a password, or use a password that you won't forget, and then your address. And once you say submit, it'll let you know if that was done successfully. And from then on, when you're searching Google Scholar, if you're searching any of the databases and we don't have an item, there will always be a link to Racer. And Racer will, and all you do is press a button, and then you can put in the request.
And about how much time, because in my experience also, students are working on a paper that is due for a class or some other assignment. How many days would it take typically to get a copy of a journal article if we didn't have it, but they had it at, kind of out at Memorial or something?
Right. So there is an order to how the system, our staff go through this order of who to contact first. So we contact the closest library first. If they reject it for whatever reason, we go to the next one, and we keep doing that till someone responds to our request. So, but in this day and age with electronic, it could be, I've heard of faculty getting their articles in 2 days. Like I would definitely say 1 to 3 days in a normal business day. Now with COVID, it's probably a little bit longer. So I would say 1 to 5 days, or 2 to 5 days now. Mm-hmm. This is a case, sorry, I pulled up quickly an article, a journal article. When you click on that Get It button, mm-hmm. It opens up a new window, and it tells you how you can find the item, but there will always be this. It says request the document on interlibrary loan. So that's what you would click on to request an item. For us to look for it for you, and literally it's so fast and easy for you. Once it comes up, I guess it's not coming up. Here it is, and it already knows that it's an article. So if it was a book, it already knows it's a book, so it would say borrow, but here it just automatically says scan. It auto-fills all the information about it, and all you have to do is select your location where you're going to pick it up and put in your Racer, your ID number, which was your 14-digit number, and the password, which you have not forgotten. And then the request goes through, and then we do our end of things. It's an excellent service. I highly recommend it.
Yes, I've been able to get chapters of books also. If I didn't need the whole book, it was an edited volume and I just needed a couple of chapters or one chapter, I've been able to request those. So we're just at time. Do we have one last question? No. So I cut you off, Olga. You wanna...
That's okay. I just want to say to go to our research help page, and this is how you would request a consultation. Right here at the top, there's a button that says request a research consultation, and then it's a form. And the minute you say you're a graduate student, I will get that form. Health sciences students get a different, it'll go to the health sciences librarians, but just basically fill out this form, and then we will notify you and set up a time to meet, mutually convenient time to meet for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. This was really informative, and I'm sure you're going to save lots of people lots of time when they are doing their class assignments and or their other research for this coming year. So I hope you stay well, and thank you for taking all of this time to walk us through these resources. And I hope the rest of your summer, as little as it is pleasant and nice.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
It's
Olga.
nice to meet everyone. I hope to meet you in the coming year. All the best to the new students, everyone. Thank you.